I put a short video out recently about my newly acquired Transit Custom camper van. This is he, she, it. And the video just discussed I wanted to upgrade the interior a little bit. It's a bit dated, and also I want to make some of the storage a little bit easier to use. So I've been making a couple of decisions, ordered some materials, got a few ideas, so let's have a look. So this is a follow-up on the improvements that I want to do to my camper van, which has had all the doors, they've been covered in this plastic coating which just rips like a vinyl sort of Fablon type thing. So I've ordered loads of samples in to work out, and I'm just going to make new doors. I will take the plastic vinyl cover off and see if I can salvage what's underneath first, but for what it costs I've ordered in some plywood furniture board from one of the camper conversion companies. At the same time, I haven't got a massive amount of storage in here because we've got the fridge, under there's water and gas bottle, but one cupboard really. That part there accesses from the back, which is a tall wardrobe, which I won't use, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to probably make a door in there, and maybe even one below here, so that when the bed's down you can get in and access certain things. So I'm going to change the configuration a little bit too. So this is from the back of the van, so this is that tall area, which I've got an awning, picnic table and chairs, but then the space above it just ends up dead, and then this space up here. So I'm probably going to put an extra shelf in here, which will have a hinged part that folds back, so if I ever do want to put anything tall in I can, but other than that I can leave it down, it'll rest on battens, and that way then I can have another storage level, and then this area I can access either through here, or I might just box that off and access it from here. So I'm going to work on that. As far as the colours go, that was my definitely not choice that I put over to one side. That was my sort of possibly, for some reason I've ended up, I can paint the backing board any colour I want, but I've just seemed to have fallen into this black with orange, and I bought the Old Pro there, and I quite like something bright to brighten it up. So then I started looking at the colours that I liked, which was this carbon fibre, this one which is just a dark grey, and then I looked at this one which is slate, which I really like. It's got a texture on it. And then when I looked at the worktop that I've got, it's slate, so I'm going to go with this, and then I'm going to do the orange trim. So that's going to be for the doors. I'm also going to see if I can get some of the slate in just the laminate, the veneer, and I'm going to then put a new decor panel in the front of the fridge, so that matches as well. So that is the plan at the moment, and I'll update you when I get doing it. One thing I never mentioned, I've also ordered some brackets that hold the table. That's how, when I bought it, it was just behind there. That carpet will go. And then I'm going to put some holders which fit in on the end of this unit, so I can slot it in. It goes behind the passenger seat, and then on the back side of the table I might even put a little fireproof panel on, because then that might just sit here if it sits the right height, because they're hobs. And if you're using this hob, which I'd see me using either of the hobs very often, but yeah, and if I do I'll probably use this one, but just because it's near to the back of the seat, so it might double up as a screen, and it will just sit much more securely in the brackets. So this blue will be going, and this will be going slate grey, probably with an extra door. I'll probably do something with this as well, and I might even do something to use that space up there. And we'll go with the orange trim. I've already got the furniture boards on their way with some brackets and various other bits and pieces and a roll of the trim, so it shouldn't be long and I can get it done. And another thing to point out is that actually if I do want to hang anything up, there's some hangers here anyway. I can put coat hangers on those, I can hang my coats on. I don't really need any tall space, whereas if I can put lots of longer stuff in there, it just means I've got a lot more storage, and then one extra cupboard through there, and then I can always have a cupboard down there, so that when the rock and roll bed is folded flat you can access through a door into there. That could either be things I want to keep secure, or even things that you just need at bedtime, bedding and that type of thing. I might even put some form of shelf on here. Oh, and I've got one idea that I'll mention, which I'm going to show you in my workshop, which I'm going to sort of pinch that idea to possibly bring in here. And that idea is, if I didn't put a door up here, I might use something called a French cleat system, which is where you can hang things on and move them around. So you put rails up here, because as most people know, with a camper van, you want to have, once you've parked up, you want to be able to put things out and have good storage, but then you don't want things moving when you're driving. Well, this system means that you can stow away everything and just leave the brackets on there, which are just nice flat flush brackets, and then when you get on site you can then just take them out, hook them all on, use them, and then pack them away when you leave. So I'll show you in my workshop now, because that's what I use for my tools. Well, I'm in the workshop now. You can actually, in this light, you can get a better look at my short list of, so I was looking at either using this, it's slightly textured, but using this carbon fibre or the grey, dark grey, and potentially matching any of these up with one of the grey trims to be a bit more subtle. But I don't know, I was just going to go for this. And actually the trim, you just tap it in. I can always rip it off, and if I get fed up with it and put some, it's not that expensive to just swap the trim over at some point. That's the slate, so that's what I'm going to go with. That's the slate sample, and that's that one. Now, the French cleat system that I'm thinking of just for small storage, I've got it, a big board here. You can move all of these tool holders around. I've got the same here, I've got the same here. So it just means that you put 45 degree on here, and then you put a 45 degree on the piece that you want to hang up. It means then you can just move it all around. So I could have those all painted up to match the camper decor, and then literally you can get a few things out, hang them on there while you're there, shelf for your phone, any other bits and pieces like that, knowing that as soon as you leave you can just unhook them, put them all back into one of the cupboards, and it's sort of like flexible storage. So I'm going to go with something like this, but I'll see when my boards turn up if I can make it out of, say, the slate coloured ply, and then I've got a permanent storage option, but I can choose to use it or not use it depending on what I'm doing. So that's the plan. Now I better get on with some of the day job, which is preparing this cedar, because I've got somebody in who wants to learn how to make beehives. Bit different, but there you go. The other thing to mention is, obviously, because I'm a commercial workshop, although I do furniture making and restoration, I've got access to things like my table saw, larger band saw, clamps, workspace, and router table for putting the slot in for the T trim that goes around the outside of the doors, and for drilling for the holes for the lock handles. Obviously I've got my drill press, so I appreciate I've got a little bit of extra kit that makes it easier for me, but making these doors is not that difficult. So once all the gear arrives and I get started, I'll post up a few videos of me doing it and upgrading the camper van, and then hopefully I can show you the inside of the camper van in a little bit more detail, and I'll take a video of actually while I'm camping so you can see the full setup.